All right, welcome back in. Zach Gelb Show, Fox Sports 920 The Jersey. Time right now in the Princeton Orthopedic Associates studios, 4:24. Tomorrow, Temple University will officially announce their new head football coach, and that is Geoff Collins, who's going to be the new head coach of Temple University. Now joining us is the old head coach of Temple, a good friend of the show, and we're happy for him now being the new head football coach at Baylor University, and that's our good friend, Matt Rhule. Coach Rhule, congratulations. Appreciate a few minutes, and how are you?
I'm doing great, buddy. How are you?
Well, I'm doing great. So a week ago today, it was announced that you were leaving Temple for Baylor. Now we have your replacement, and that's Geoff Collins, someone you're very familiar with your days going back to Albright in Western Carolina. What can you tell us about the new head football coach at Temple?
Well, I think it's a home run. I think one thing about when you have a new head coach and he comes from outside, it usually takes them a while to figure out who's who, what's what, how to make things work, and Temple's a different place. So I think the fact that Jeff's coming in, he obviously has a direct line to myself, to Francis Brown. Immediately our student athletes will be in a better position. He's not going to try to build everything up. Tear everything down. He'll take everything that we did and just make it better, put his own spin on it. He's a tremendous defensive coach. He's a relentless recruiter. He cares about players. Players love playing for him, and I think he'll do a tremendous job. And I think the future is extremely bright at Temple.
Now, a lot of people, when they were waiting for this news, they had some uneasy feelings, and now they're in an exuberant mood today because they hear that nickname, the Minister of Mayhem, and his defensive approach, just working on his staffs in years past of the two stops that you were at. What can you tell me about his defensive approach?
Well, I think he's creative. He puts the kids in a position to be successful. He has a lot of juice and energy. The kids love playing for him. And, it is mayhem. I mean, he's going to come from all different angles. So, he's done it at every level. He's done it. He's had one of the top defenses in the country, 1AA, Division I. He's won in the SEC. He'll do just an absolutely fantastic job.
Now, I know that when you leave a university, you have to focus on your next venture in life, and for you, that's Baylor. But I know you still have a lot of good relationships with the folks at Temple. You had a very amicable relationship with Pat Kraft, and now have an amicable relationship with the new head football coach in Geoff Collins. In this process, when they were trying to replace you after you left to Baylor, did you have any contact with Geoff or Pat in this hiring process?
You know what? They made that hire on their own. Obviously I know everybody there, so if anybody did ever call me, I had positive things to say. But I know that the pool of candidates was really deep, and there were a lot of people who wanted that job. But as I said, they picked the right guy. I mean, they picked a guy that's going to do a tremendous job, and the student athletes and the kids in the region that he's going to recruit are going to have a great experience.
What advice would you give him? Because you've been through the Temple job, and you really built up and went off Al's success and Al's model and took it to a different level, winning an American Athletic Conference championship. So what advice would you give Geoff?
Well, I don't think that he necessarily needs any advice. I just think that it's a really, really tremendously deep roster with a lot of really good kids, and I think that he has everything he needs to win. So he'll have a tremendous plan. I mean, I think one thing that's similar with Geoff and me is when you come to a place like Temple, you don't complain about what you don't have. You don't complain about hey, we need this, we need that. You need to focus on what you do have. What you do have is a bunch of really, really great people. That's in the program with the players and coaches. That's in administration. That's on campus, and that's our fans. And so Temple's really rich with people, and Geoff's a people person. So I know he'll. That's the only advice I'd give to him is, just make sure you take time to enjoy the people that are around you.
Matt Rhule, the new head football coach of Baylor, joining us on the Zach Gelb Show, Fox Sports 920 The Jersey. Coach, how difficult was it for you to leave Temple?
It was extremely hard. We felt like it was the right time to go. We felt like we were ready for a new challenge, but it was really, really hard to leave those players. And I have tremendous peace of mind knowing that they're in great hands. And I knew that they would be in great hands with Pat Kraft and Kevin Clark and all those people at the helm. But I'm really, really, really joyful that I know they have a great, great coach who cares about this more than just football players. And that was a really, really important part of this to me.
I know how much pride you had in Temple because people look at your time as the head football coach being 4 years and all the success that you accomplished. But it even started before that when you basically begged Al Golden for a job and then worked your way up on his staff and then even got a job with the Giants for 1 year. If you have to look back and just say, what does Temple University mean to you, what's your response? Because 10 years is a long time.
Well, I mean, it's been my home. You know what I mean? It's just tremendous relationships and people. But I don't look at that as being over. I look at that as, you know, that period of my life is over. But those relationships, you know, they move forward. I mean, you know, you text me and I'm on the radio with you from, you know, halfway across the country. You know what I mean? There's tremendous relationships that I built during my time there, and you know, I don't think you just, you know, forget about those all at once.
And we'll be rooting for you at Baylor and be tracking your success. And I know you'll be tracking the success of the Temple Owls. Really, when you take a look back at your time and you get a little nostalgic and you look at some of the memories that you had, what are those memories that stick out to you? Obviously, the AAC championship, but what are some memories that come back to mind?
Well, you know, I think from the first year, I'll always remember that Memphis win. And you know, really, that was a win that I thought propelled us off into the future. In that second year, you know, I'll probably always remember that the Vanderbilt game. What a great win that was, beating East Carolina, who was ranked, and then the joy in the locker room after beating Tulane and getting the bowl eligibility, and the pain of finding out that we weren't going to go to a bowl, and you know, beating Penn State, going on the road to beat Cincinnati. There were a lot of great memories, obviously, from last year, bringing game day there. So proud of those kids when they won back to back against Memphis and UConn, and beat a ranked Memphis team to have a chance to go to the championship game, and then just the strength that they showed this year. You know, when you know, we were, you know, 0-1 and then 1-2 and then 3-3. You know, coaches are getting, you know, hate mail. Kids are hearing about it on Twitter, but they always stuck together, and they always gave us as coaches strength. And so this year was one of the most rewarding years I've ever had in coaching, and that's a credit to the players and the seniors. And so, you know, the championship was great, but it's all the things that they did leading up to that made that championship trophy so sweet.
Now, you know, in your business, you can't please everybody. And, of course, I think everyone should give you a standing ovation for the job that you did at Temple. But clearly, you have some disappointed fans that loved you so much, and they're sad to see you go. What do you say to those disappointed fans that thought you were going to be here a little bit longer than you were?
You know, I thank everyone for my time there. You know, I don't, you know, I got a standing ovation from the players as I walked out that room, and that to me said, hey, we had done what we were supposed to do and do it well. And I appreciate that people are disappointed that I left and that our staff left. That means that they cared and it was important to them, and that means a great deal to me. But you know, life's about chapters. You know what I mean? And most people, I mean, this probably won't be your last job. You know, all of us move on to different chapters in our life and different experiences, and that's what makes us grow. And I think the only thing you can be asked to do is make sure when you leave a place, you leave it better than you found it. I know that we did that, and I'm hopeful that we left it in a place where they can continue to win for a long time. And I think that this is a landmark hire for them, and it means that they will be extremely successful as they move forward.
No question. And the fun part about you when you were at Temple, and we know, Matt, you're talking over the years, you have a great personality that really resonated with the fan base. But you came in and you said this team was going to have a championship trophy on 10th and Diamond. And you came in and you made those promises. And some people said, well, wait a minute, this is Temple. But ultimately, you came through. Now, you could have went to an abundance of jobs with back-to-back 10-win seasons at Temple. You never backed down from a challenge, and you decided to pick what could be a more difficult job with all that went on with the past with Baylor University. Why did you go to Baylor? What was right about that job that you said, okay, I'm ready to move on from Temple and go to Baylor with all that went on there?
Well, we just thought it was the right place to be. It felt like the right place to be. It wasn't necessarily it wasn't the one like the slam dunk that everyone would say, oh, I can see why he's there, you know. But that's not what life is like. And we looked at this as a challenge to come into a new part of the country, into a new conference, to a school with a tremendous tradition. They won two Big 12 championships in the last years, but obviously they went through a hard time, and it just felt like, you know what, I was the right guy, and my staff, we were the right people to come in and try to help these kids as they move forward. And that's what these kids need. They've battled this entire year. They went back to a bowl game, which shows tremendous results 7 years in a row. And this was the time for us to go. And so I don't think that means that we didn't love Temple. It just means that this was the next step in our journey. And our players, I'll watch Deion Dawkins hopefully get drafted in the first round. That's the next step in his journey. But it doesn't mean that all of us didn't love Temple.
And we know that you did love Temple. And your wife, your whole family, your wife loved Temple. She worked there for a bunch of years. I know your son, Bryant, was Tavon Young one year for Halloween. So your family definitely did love Temple. When you first told your family, when you first told Julie, hey, we're going to go to Waco, Texas, that's a possibility, and you had to tell Bryant, what were their reactions?
Well, for my wife and I, it was a decision we made together, and it just felt like the right. It didn't mean it hasn't been hard, and they're still back there. It doesn't mean that they're probably not crying every day when they drop our son off at school, but as I said, it was time to do that. For my son, it was obviously harder. He's got such tremendous relationships with those guys, and while he might be excited about a new school and a new opportunity, the players at Temple were instrumental in my son and his upbringing, and they're his idols, and so telling him was not easy, and it was it was not an easy role, but. He's a coach's kid. That's what we do. Unfortunately, we move around. We move from job to job. We move from place to place, and I think he gets that. But he'll be watching the bowl game, and he'll be excited to see Temple go beat Wake Forest and go get to 11 wins. Because lost in all this is that these kids, they'll be the first Temple team ever to get to 11 wins. And I know when I talked to them, I've made it very clear that that's my expectation.
Wrap it up with Matt Rhule, who joins us right now on the show, the new head football coach at Baylor. Temple hires a new coach today to replace Coach Rhule, and that is Geoff Collins. A lot of rumors going around about who's leaving Temple to join your staff. Can you tell us who definitely will be joining your staff at the end of the season?
I don't know what, Mike Straub and Fran Brown have been hired here officially. Sean Patton's been hired here officially. There's some other people that aren't official yet, so I won't get in trouble and say that. But there'll be quite a few coaches from that staff that come here, and at the same time, I think the ones who don't, or the ones who choose not to, I should say, will have a tremendous opportunity. If it works out with them with Geoff. So the hope is that there's continuity here, and there's continuity for me, and I think that in that way it's a win-win for everybody.
Matt, you take a look back, 2006, you came to Temple on Al Golden's staff, and then you finally leave in 2016. You had one little small stop up the turnpike with the Giants. You worked your way up, and it's a tremendous success story. Just explain how you got to this point from basically begging Al Golden, then to going to the Giants, being the Temple head coach, and now becoming the head coach of Baylor. Tell me about that hard work.
Well, I think it's just, it's been a process of just day in and day out, just, trying to, just do your job, and do it at a high level. Whatever I'm asked to do, I've tried to do, and the unique thing for me, the reason why I didn't leave is throughout that whole process, I was always given different opportunities. I went from defensive line coach to quarterback coach, to recruiting coordinator, to offensive coordinator, to tight ends coach, to the NFL, to come back and to be a head coach, and really each year develop as a head coach. And then now that we've, been to back-to-back, championship games, won a championship, that challenge moved to here. But, it was really just whatever job they gave me, trying to be the best I could at that, be excellent at that. And I was, not say that I always was, but I fought for it and I tried and kept trying to get better. And that's what's so exciting for me as I move forward into this job.
Really, if you look back, specifically the last 2 years, really Temple football got a lot of attention in Philadelphia. Even some weeks you got more attention than the Philadelphia Eagles. You know how much they love the Eagles here. Always, though, when even going back to John Chaney, and then when you see Al Golden come in here and other coaches as well before you, they're always that word Temple tough. And I always hear that expression. I always wondered really what Temple tough meant. And just being an alum of that university, the way that I described it to Philip Walker when he joined us right after the conference championship game was nothing's given at Temple and everything's earned, and that was a true definition of your program. You had a Hassan Reddick who was a walk-on, now one of the better defensive players in the country. Tyler Medikevich, no one was really giving him looks. He goes on to win the defensive player in the country with the Bednarik and the Nagurski Award. What is it about your coaching style that you're able to get these walk-ons, these two-star recruits, and make them players that are capable of going to the NFL?
Well, everything that we've done at Temple was about trying to develop players to be their best, and that's not an easy process. That's a process of challenging guys, pushing guys, accepting nothing but their best. And that happens in the classroom, it happens in the community, it happens just in following small rules that they don't. Sometimes guys don't understand, why do I have to do this? It happens in the weight room, and most importantly, it happens on the practice field. And so we did things in a certain way. Not sometimes some of those things aren't in vogue anymore, but we did them that way. And what that did was that allowed those kids to grow and to develop and to get better and better and better, and to go from one-star recruits, two-star recruits into NFL players. And I'll believe in that till the day I die. You get better at life by doing what you set out to do, and doing it over and over and over again, and playing through your mistakes. And so we built a culture there of practice and of weightlifting and of excellence, and it just manifested itself in the end in a couple, a chance to win a championship.
Matt, last one for you. What are you going to miss most about Philadelphia?
Most definitely the people that are there. I'll miss the cheesesteaks, and I'll miss the city and all that. I'll miss the people. I'll miss the people that live there. I'll miss the people at Temple. I'll miss the players that were at Temple. And that's been the hardest part, is just having a chance, having to say goodbye. But that's what life's about. And whenever one door closes, another one opens. And I've been on the losing end of jobs where I've gotten fired. I've been on jobs where you can take a leap of faith and go somewhere. So while it might be scary, it usually ends up being what you're supposed to do. And so I'm sad to leave all those people, but at the same time, I'm ready for a new opportunity and a new challenge. But I will always be a diehard Temple football fan from afar.
Matt, I'm going to tell you right now, that sun's going to be shining in early morning in your new palatial estate in Waco, Texas, wherever you're going to live out there. And you're going to roll over. Julie's going to be there, and you're going to say, man, I really miss Zach Gelb. I miss him asking all these tough questions in a press conference. I'm telling you, Coach, you're going to miss me the most.
Well, it's a good thing they have internet radio so I can listen to you whenever I need a fix.
Well, Coach, we always appreciate the time, and really, we're rooting for you in Baylor. We hope you win a national championship, and who knows, maybe Temple and Baylor one day could meet in a little bowl game. We appreciate it, Coach. Thanks so much.
That'd be wonderful. All right, brother. Thank you.
There's Matt Rhule, the former head football coach at Temple University, now the head coach of Baylor. Man, that guy's a good coach. That is someone that promised things at Temple and delivered. And I have no problem with him leaving, because if you look at it, Temple is a stepping stone job right now. That's the way I view it. Now, that's not a problem. That's not a knock. If the new coach, Geoff Collins, gives you 3-4 good years, continues Rhule's success, and builds for the next coach, and that's the Temple job for the next few years, I'm fine with that. Just keep winning. That's all they have to do. Just keep winning. So we appreciate Matt Rhule joining us on what is a very busy day for him. This is the Zach Gelb Show, Fox Sports 920, The Jersey, 609-919-9200. We'll take a quick break. When we get back, we jump around from guest to guest. Kyle Gauss from Owl Scoop will join us next.